What if AI knew more about your product's supply chain than you did? And what if that knowledge could save you millions in tariffs? This article from CNBC News, Tech Tariffs Response, AI is mapping world of where products get made and how much it costs. It's an interesting article. This was an interesting article by CNBC News. It gets into some fascinating stuff about how they're using AI in order to address tariffs in supply chain management. And so, without further ado, let's jump into this. Key points of the article: as companies face changing tariff threats, quickly understanding a whole supply chain, all tiers of manufacturing and costs becomes critical. Second key point: artificial intelligence is helping companies gain visibility beyond direct suppliers and map a supply chain to cost effectively navigate any trade taxes. Focus on tariffs in recent months. What countries, how much, which goods has upended supply chains and roiled markets. CEOs are spinning up war rooms to deal with the upheaval, and employees are bracing for recession and possible layoffs from the impact of business. We shall see. Is this a short-term strategy by the Trump administration to shake the trading box? That'd be a question of mine. President Trump is notorious for shaking the box, but that tends to upset a lot of people because people are used to stability. And of course, what Trump does is very different from other presidents. And of course, a reasonable question would be, is this a long-term strategy by the Trump administration? Over the short term, tariffs may not be a bad tool. Of course, if you read Thomas Sowell, Milton Friedman, which I do, I've also read Adam Smith and Karl Marx. If you're a good capitalist, like Thomas Sowell says, you'll read the Communist Manifesto, which you should be able to compare and contrast. Anyway, both of those gentlemen were not pro tariffs. But if this is a short-term strategy by President Trump, hey, every once in a while it might not be a bad idea to mix up, to shake that box, so to speak. Let's continue here. Understanding the whole supply chain of where goods are made, a supplier's suppliers and their suppliers is now critically important to companies that make everything from washing machines to children's toys, correct? And of course, tariffs its effects are seen across all industries, right? It's inputs, outputs coming into the United States. In this case, inputs, well, I guess both, as I said. The challenge is finding a way to gather the information needed on tier 1, or excuse me, on tier 2, 3, and even tier 4 suppliers. Artificial intelligence is helping companies gain that visibility, but even the most sophisticated technology can't predict the are they on or off nature of President Trump's tariffs. You mean AI can't do everything? How is AI supposed to take over the world and take over all of our jobs if it can't predict the next move by President Trump? Which, by the way, that's advantageous to the United States. As President Trump has said on several occasions, he is a deal maker. I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead here a little bit. By the way, I will post this article below, so you will have access to it. Please like, share, and subscribe because it does feed the AI algorithm. And I just want to say thank you to my 50 plus followers on YouTube. That hasn't gone unnoticed, and I do appreciate you. Let's continue here. We'll start here. In fact, he said he's having more conversations with senior leaders, CEOs, CFOs. This is Evan Smith, co-founder and CEO of Global Supply Chain Management. That's what we're talking about, of Altana, than he's ever had in Altana. I'll start over again. In fact, he said he's having more conversations with senior leaders, CEOs, CFOs, and boards of directors than he's ever had in the Altana's 7-year history, with one theme coming up in every discussion: The conversation is geopolitics front and center, Smith said, expressed through these trade wars and the tariff volatility. Prior to using AI, Smith said companies would typically hire auditors or survey their suppliers to get a complete picture of their supply chain. So then my question would be, how do they account for mistakes AI will make? AI is a wonderful tool. It's a great tool. I'm starting to implement it both into my private and professional life, but I do have to check it for errors. I do have to go through that process. It definitely speeds up. For example, in my professional career, it does speed up the development process for the tools I'm building to help in my job. It definitely does that. Saves me days and months, but I still have to go through and make sure that everything is ship shape, so to speak. I'm going to jump down here. And we're going to get into this next section. Again, I will post this in the section below for your use. Era of blind outsourcing is over. In order to build out its picture of the world, Altana had to learn from the privately held data of global logistics companies, insurance companies, retailers, and banks, to name a few. Altana applies AI to this data to draw connections and produce a dynamic map of the global supply chain. He says the entities Altana works with are giving a little to get a lot. They contribute to the map of the world and to the AI systems that are learning from the data, but their data stays private, secure, and sovereign. So I wonder how much that data costs. That can't be cheap. 21st century oil. I don't know if you've ever heard that term. That's exactly what this is. Data is extremely important for AI usability and success. Let's continue here. For companies scrambling to figure out tariffs, AI can enable them to see past their direct suppliers. I'm going to highlight this here for you. Smith uses a washing machine as an example. The manufacturer provides Altana with what's called a bill of materials, basically all components of the washer, along with the suppliers the company works with. All this information is uploaded to Altana, and using AI, it is able to show the multi-tier network for that washer, including the suppliers the manufacturer didn't have visibility into. My question would be, will AI be able to map iPencil? iPencil is a book that you can read. I highly recommend it. It's an interesting journey of how the pencil is made through different hands in different countries, a single pencil. I will post that book in the description below, along with this article, so you have access to it. And while I was going through this article originally, when I was preparing for this episode, another question I have is, I wonder if AI will be able to map Adam Smith's invisible hand. Because remember, supply chains are complex systems. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of inputs, a lot of outputs. It is more than the human mind can understand. So that reference, The Invisible Hand by Adam Smith, alludes to that challenge. We cannot control that system. We can only participate in it. And so will AI be able to map that out for us, or at least be able to, probably won't be able to map the entire thing, because there are, I would say, an infinite number of interactions. It's probably, I'm pretty sure it's not that many, but it's more than we can imagine. And so the complexity of that system is obviously not possible for us to see, but perhaps AI will be able to provide some insights into that system for us, so we can at least understand what's going on there. We're going to jump down here to this section right here. Quote here for Smith: when we first started doing this, maybe 4 years ago, with some rudimentary machine learning tools, it would take us about 6 months to get through a large enterprise and do that mapping for each of their products, Smith said. Today, we can do it all on the same day. And again, that's what I was talking about earlier. The wonderful part about for example, what I've seen in my own professional life using AI to build tools for myself, it's saved me a tremendous amount of time. And as Smith is saying here, it's saving them a lot of time as well. It's creating more efficient systems. And that's what I've been speaking about in my videos. We use AI because it's going to make things for us more efficient. We're not going to use it because some people are trying to achieve AGI. Like I said, I've had my criticisms of that, and I don't think that's necessarily going in the correct direction. Of course, I'm being a bit esoteric about my position right now. But I think for everyone else, for the person who is just going to the store, for the person who's purchasing and buying products and enjoying those products, AI is going to make the world more efficient. Like vehicles made the world more efficient, washing machines have made the world more efficient. Our phones and communication have made the world more efficient. AI is going to do the same thing. So, and I will dock my battleship there. Were there any questions you thought I should have asked? Were there any questions I missed? If so, please post them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. In addition, please like, share, and subscribe because it does feed the AI algorithm and it does help the channel. I will see you in the next episode.